Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to this week's cosmic guidance for the week of August 30th through until September the 5th. And each week I share with you the main astrological shifts that are taking place, channel guidance from the Akashic Records, and guidance on working with this energy in the highest expression. Because we open up to greater ease, greater flow, more miracles in our life when we stop relying on our strength alone and we learn to co-create with cosmic intelligence. So let's dive in and take a look at what's happening for you this week. So beginning on Monday the 30th, we have Mercury moving into the sign of Libra. And this really is an energy that puts the spotlight on relationships and our communication in relationships. And healthy communication is a key component to allowing our relationships to thrive. So we have a little while to work with this energy. As you'll see, if you're following me weekly, Mercury is going to retrograde in this sign as well. So it's really putting the spotlight on the power of the words that we use, how we're conversing in our relationships, and use this energy to reflect on, is there something that I need to say in one of my relationships? This could be with a colleague, a friend, a romantic partner. Is there something you need to say that you've been holding back on? This is a good week to bring that to the forefront, because Mercury is the planet of communication and self-expression. And when it's in Libra, it wants to communicate in a way that's very loving and very harmonious, which I think is really needed on the planet right now. Putting a spotlight on how we are conveying our truth, how we are speaking our truth, and are we sharing information to try to prove a point, to try to convince someone, or are we sharing it from a space of love because we want to offer a perspective that we feel is really powerful? These are some of the themes that are going to come into the spotlight with this energy. Really looking at as well how you are showing up in the different relationships in your life and where you may need to bring in some forgiveness, where you may need to set healthy boundaries. This relationship theme continues to be a spotlight, but this week it's primarily how we are communicating in our relationships. And we also start out the week with the moon in Gemini. So we have more air energy coming in, the element of air being very powerful this week. Libra is an air sign, Gemini is an air sign. So we have a lot of this focus on information, the type of information we are consuming, being very intentional about what you are taking in, being very intentional about how you are communicating and sharing information. And the moon in Gemini opens us up to being really curious, being able to ask questions, having a willingness to see things through a new perspective. And one of my all-time favorite quotes is by Dr. Wayne Dyer, who had said that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And often that's all that's needed in our life, is a change in our perspective in order to bring about miraculous results. And this cosmic energy that we are beginning the week with, very strong on Monday and Tuesday, really is about challenging the way that we see things, becoming aware of the way that we are communicating, becoming aware of the power that your words hold. And not just in how you're communicating with other people, but how are you talking to yourself? Be very aware of what your self-talk is, because that gives a glimpse into your belief system, and you can't outperform your belief system. So if you have a story that's on repeat that says you're not worthy, this is going to be hard, I can't possibly do this, what results are you going to create in your life? So start being aware of what your self-talk is. Be more loving and gentle and compassionate with yourself. But it all begins by first just having that awareness. Now, this energy too can kind of bring out in the shadow form a bit of perfectionism. It's like we feel like we have to be perfect in how we are conveying information. We have to be perfect in the actions we are taking. And while I'm all for holding ourselves to high standards that allow us to grow and evolve and be the best humans we can be, we don't want to come at it from a space of perfectionism, which is ultimately rooted in the energy of fear that we are not enough. So be aware of how some of that may be coming in as well. Now we are in Virgo season 2. I talked about this last week, the sun entering Virgo, and Virgo is an earth sign, but it's actually ruled by Mercury. So even though it's an earth sign and it is a very earthy energy, it's also very analytical at the same time because of its ruler Mercury. So there's a lot of things right now that can kind of bring in this perfectionism, this desire to be very precise and needing to be spot on. And this can support us in really getting a deeper sense of organization, again, being more intentional about what we are consuming, what we are conveying. Just be aware of the perfectionistic side of things and where that may be showing up in your life. Now, on the 1st, we have the moon moving into the sign of Cancer, and this begins to change the vibe a little bit midweek. So where the moon in Gemini, which is where it is when we begin the week on Monday and Tuesday, is about information, it's very analytical. The moon in Cancer is right at home in this sign, and it brings the spotlight to our emotions, to our intuition, to our feelings. So Wednesday, you may find you're feeling a little more emotional, you're feeling a little more sensitive, and it's a good time to look at how you're nourishing yourself, how you're caring for yourself. Are you continuing to make self-care a priority in your life? This is still something that's streaming in very strongly from the Akashic Records at this time, because we are going through this powerful ascension where manifestations are being accelerated for us as a collective, for us individually. And it's really important that we're taking care of ourselves at this time, that we are getting extra sleep. I'm hearing is really big because we're doing a lot of healing work in our sleep. So getting extra sleep, looking at how you're caring for yourself throughout the day, especially in Virgo season. Are you moving your body every day? Are you exercising? What are you eating? How are you fueling yourself physically? How are you fueling yourself emotionally? Are you taking time to journal, to reflect on your emotions, to be aware of what's active in your energetic field? Like what are you feeling? Bring that to the surface. Begin to explore that as we experience this Cancer moon. And we'll have that through most of the week. On Friday, it's going to shift into Leo, but we have like a couple of days to really play with this energy of looking at how we're nourishing ourselves, how we're trusting our intuition, how we are honoring our emotions. Now, on Thursday, September 2nd, we have a powerful opposition happening between Mars in Virgo and Neptune in Pisces. And these are both very healing energies, but what I'm sensing around this is we may have this desire to really be moving forward, but not yet having the clarity that we need. Anytime we have Neptune coming into the equation, it can bring a sense of haziness or fogginess, and we're not quite sure what to do to move forward. And I shared this analogy before. A coach that I worked with years ago had said, when we're in this confusion, it's like we're in a fog. And what happens when we're in a fog? If we stand still, the fog seems to become heavier, but if we start to take a step, we can see right in front of us, and slowly we get through the fog one step at a time. But we have to be willing to move. So don't wait until everything feels crystal clear before you move forward. Wait until you get the call to take the inspired action, but trust that through taking that action, you are also going to gather more information. So with this aspect on Thursday, there can be that sense of confusion. You may already be feeling it building up as well. It's exact on Thursday, but even the beginning of the week, the ending of the week, we still feel this energy at play of, okay, I want to move forward. There's a part of me that's ready to launch this program, to make this change in a relationship, and another part that's like, but I'm afraid, I'm not sure. So we want to honor this. And I think the best way to work with this energy of Neptune is trusting our intuition. The only time, honestly, that I feel Neptune can put us in this haze and this fog is when we're trying to figure it all out logically. We're trying to be very analytical, and there's a place for that, but Neptune energy is not the place for it. This is a place of trusting our heart and intuition. And often where our intuition is guiding us doesn't seem to logically make sense, but it's actually your intuition is connected to the wisdom of your soul, and it's leading you to the right people, the right places for your highest and best good in your soul path. And it may not make sense to other people. It may not even make sense to you logically. Like if you're looking at, okay, these are the facts, but my intuition is telling me this. And that's why we get confused, because sometimes it seems like those two things are butting heads. They're not meant to. We want to bring our logical mind on board with our intuition and have them be co-creating together. So really, really trust your intuition on Thursday. with the decisions that you are making. Now, on Friday the 3rd, later in the day, we have the moon moving into Leo. So the vibe changes again. So the moon sign, it changes very quickly. Every 2 to 3 days, the moon changes signs, and the moon governs our emotional world, our intuition, what we need on an internal level. So when the moon changes signs, it does account for fluctuations and changes in our mood and what we feel we need. So when we go from the moon in Cancer into the sign of Leo, we can start to have more energy as we move into the weekend. The Leo moon is about tapping into your fierceness, your power, your courage. And this is a message I've been receiving from the Akashic Records lately as well, is the importance of light workers and healers and tapping into this fierce energy that's rooted in love. It's not about overpowering people, trying to just prove points. It's about standing up for what you believe in a way that feels really empowered and anchored in love. We need more of that on the planet right now, where we are not judging other people. We're allowed to have these diverse opinions and perspectives. And again, this week, there's a big theme around communication. How are we conveying what we believe in? And is this being done from a space that's so rooted and centered in our power? Our words are going to be more impactful when we are grounded and rooted in our sense of power rather than in this frantic arguments or trying to prove things. So big theme this week. I know I've said this, but again, this is going to be big. This week is communication, and you're probably, what I feel coming in from the Akashic Records is the decisions you're making this week can really alter your life path. You may be confronted with some decisions that are really big, and to bring in both to consult your intuition ultimately in what you choose, but to make sure you have the information you need in order to make a decision that feels informed and really good for you. So trust that this week. Okay, so let's go back a little bit to this moon in Leo on Friday. So as the moon moves into Leo, it is about this fierceness. It's about this playfulness. It's about creativity, taking center stage in your life. It can also lead into a very fun, playful energy as we move into the weekend as well. Now we're ending the week with another interesting aspect here on Sunday, September the 5th. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, and prosperity, is going to form a square formation with Pluto, the planet of power and transformation. So this can bring about, again, the relationship theme, some changes in your relationships. This can also be a relationship to money. Venus represents money. So it's a really good time to look at what your relationship with money is, what your relationship is with being able to receive. And transformations in all of these areas really coming to the forefront. And from the Akashic Records as well, what I'm hearing is looking more deeply at your relationship with change and transformation. The more comfortable you can be with change in your life, the more you accelerate your manifestations, because manifesting requires a sense of unattachment, an ability to release the old to create space for the new. And this can be releasing old habits, old behaviors, old mindsets, old energy in order to welcome in the new that's actually more aligned to your desires and what you want to call in and create. So that involves change. I was talking to a client, one of my private clients. We were talking about this the past week of this fear of change and how this can show up, and it can be involved with grief and letting go. But the more comfortable we can feel in the midst of change, manifestations will accelerate. Momentum will build. And remember that source of comfort is really, really found within you by grounding within and knowing that things can change externally, but you feel comfortable and safe in who you are. That's going to be big for this week. Okay. So main takeaways that I'm feeling from the Akashic Records as well is to pulling all of this together is this is a week with focus on communication and on making decisions and how you find that balance between collecting the data, the information, and then ultimately trusting your heart and trusting your intuition. Also a week to really infuse your relationship with yourself and with other people with more love and with more openness and curiosity. Right. And what that can be as well is even challenging some of your thoughts and beliefs that you have, and really asking, like, where did this belief come from? Is this ultimately serving me and serving my path? How does my higher self see this? What's another way to see this? The cosmic energies this week, with all that air energy being activated, being in Virgo season, really good to become like detectives in our life about what we are entertaining, what we are consuming, what we are sharing. All right, so those are the main energies this week. If you would like to learn to work more closely with cosmic energy, how to open and access your Akashic Records and work in that space to do deep levels of healing and clearing, to activate the highest timeline for your life and business, join me in my Goddess VIP group. You also get monthly group calls with me, new and full moon rituals, a library of incredible resources on quantum manifestation, on activating abundance and prosperity. Truly an incredible space. So if you would like more details on that, I'll pop the link below. And I am sending you all so much love and light. Have the most incredible week, and I will see you soon. Bye.